Hello. uh, my name is Charles Webster Baer, and today is December 27, 2020, and I'm in Redmond, Oregon, USA, and my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And today I want to talk about four things. Okay. Number one is depopulationism. Number two is global internet government. Number three is fogbank. And number four is me. So let's start with number one, depopulationism. Depopulationism is an idea created by the Chinese government in the 1980s. And it is the one woman, one child policy. And depopulationists like myself think it's illegal and immoral for anyone to reproduce a second time in this millennium. And depopulationists want to create a significant and sustained and immediate decline in the number of human beings on the planet Earth. And if we're able to do this, then eventually the number of people on the planet Earth will arrive at a sustainable level, which is a number for future generations to determine. But I'm guessing it's around 2 or 3 billion people. And this will allow the environment to heal, and this will allow for trees to grow back. And then when human beings want to breathe oxygen in the future, we'll be able to do that because there'll be enough trees to make enough oxygen for us to breathe, and we won't all suffocate to death. And that's a good thing. And so that's depopulationism. And right now, the number of people on the planet is increasing, and that's the wrong direction. That's a suicide course, because if we kill Earth, we die with it. And so what we need to do is just play it safe and go in the right direction, which is the other direction, which is down. So we need to do a U-turn. And humans don't have the right to kill the planet. Humans don't have the right to threaten the planet. We don't have the right to kill the environment. We don't have the right to threaten the environment. But we're doing that, and it's wrong. And we need to stop. And we just need to stop now. And that's depopulationism. That's the only rational and fair way, in my opinion, to save the planet. And, it's not complicated. It's just common sense. And I think it's time for Americans, and especially Oregonians, to stand up and lead the way by example. I think it's time for Americans to stand up and save the planet right now. And so that's depopulationism. That's the goal. That's what we need to do as a species immediately. And that's number one, depopulationism. And that's what we need to do. That's the goal. And number two is the plan to accomplish that. Depopulationism is the destination we need to arrive at quickly, and global internet government is number two. That's the road we need to walk down to get there. So what we need to do is depopulationism, and how we need to do it is global internet government. Depopulation is number one. That's the mission. Number two is global internet government. That's how we're going to accomplish this mission. Gig. So gig is number 2. Depopulation is number 1. Gig is number 2. Gig is a world government that I created 20 years ago. So I've been talking about depopulationism for 35 years. I've been talking about global internet government for 20 years. I created global internet government, or GIG, 20 years ago in Portland, Oregon. And GIG is a world government that I created. GIG is going to unite the planet politically and economically. GIG is going to provide a platform for all human beings to participate in the world government and to contribute to the world government. GIG is going to unite the world politically and economically. GIG is going to unite the world politically by working with the United Nations to make sure that everybody has freedom and democracy and equality and birth control. And birth control means that every human being on earth has the right to total and free access to all forms of birth control, including abortion. Any government that doesn't completely agree with this is an illegitimate government and will be replaced quickly and peacefully by a legitimate government. GIG's going to work with the United Nations to unite the world politically with freedom and democracy and equality and birth control for everybody. GIG's going to unite the world financially by working with the International Monetary Fund and making sure that all governments are completely transparent and all governments have trade treaties and balanced budget amendments. And GIG's going to monitor every financial transaction by every government on the planet and put it online immediately so everybody can see where all the money goes and who's getting it and what they're doing with it. So 100% transparency for all governments on the planet. GIG's going to accomplish that. So GIG is inevitable. GIG is going to unite the world. GIG is going to save the world. Hopefully, GIG's going to do all this stuff in time. And countries will be able to vote if they want to officially enter GIG or not. And they can vote themselves in, they can vote themselves out. Majority of citizens of a country vote to enter GIG, they can enter GIG. If majority of citizens in a country vote to exit GIG, they can exit GIG. You can only enter GIG if the majority of citizens in the country vote to enter GIG, and you can only enter GIG if you agree to the terms. And the terms are depopulationism, equality, democracy, freedom of speech, transparency, etc. So that's global internet government. And that's GIG. So that's number 3. And that's number 2. Depopulation is number 1. That's what we have to do as a species. GIG is number 2. That's how we're going to accomplish that. And then number 3 is fogbank. And fogbank is a cyber currency that I invented last year. And fogbank is my cyber currency. So I'm the owner, founder, and president of GIG and fogbank. I didn't create depopulationism. The Chinese did, but I have been a strong supporter of it since the beginning in the mid 80s. A very vocal supporter. But so anyway, fogbank's number 3. Okay, fogbank is my cyber currency I created last year. Fogbank, it has a unit of currency, which is called a fogbuck, F-O-G-B-U-K. Plural is fogbucks, F-O-G-B-U-X. Anybody can buy any amount of fogbucks they want for a penny each. There's also something called a fogbic, F-O-G-B-I-K. Plural is fogbics, F-O-G-B-I-X. Fogbic and a fogbuck have the exact same value. Okay. Now the value of a fog buck is going to fluctuate from 0 to as high as it goes, and then back down to 0, and then the value of a fog buck will be constantly fluctuating between 0 and as high as it goes. A value of a fog buck and a fog bick is identical. They're the same value. Fog buck is a unit of currency that is purchased from Fogbank by an individual for 1 penny each, and you can buy as many as you want. A fog bick is a unit of currency that is given from Fogbank to an individual. Okay, so if you buy a bunch of fog bucks, those are your fog bucks. If Fogbank gives you a bunch of fog bicks, then those are your fog bicks. It's the same value. A fog buck and a fog bick is the same value. Gig's going to give everybody on the planet 10,000 fog bicks. You're welcome. Now, if you buy a fog buck, that's yours forever until you spend it. If you're given a fog bick, that's yours forever until you spend it, or until Gig decides to suspend or terminate that fog bick. Fogbank can suspend or terminate any fog bick at any time for any reason or for no reason at all. Okay. Also, every fog buck has a unique fog buck identification number. Every fog bick has a unique fog bick identification number. Every fog bank user has a unique fog bank identification user number, and every fog bank transaction has a unique fog bank transaction number. Every single fog bick and fog buck will be transparent and accountable, and everybody on the planet everywhere can watch and see where all the fog bucks and fog bicks are going. Okay? Everybody on the planet everywhere can always know exactly where every fog bick and every fog buck is, who got it, where they got it, what they did with it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 100% transparent. Totally transparent. 100%. Everybody can see who's got the fog bucks, where they got them from, what they did with them, who's got the fog bicks, where they got them from, what they did with them, et cetera. Everybody can see all this information all the time, all of it, whenever they want, 100% transparent. Now, there's a limit on how many fog bucks you can have. You can't have more than 1 trillion American dollars worth of fog bucks. And you can't be broke. If you've got 0 fog bicks, you will be given another 10 fog bicks every week. So if you have no fog bicks, Fogbank will give you 10 more fog bicks every week. So nobody will ever be broke. So there's a ceiling on how much money you can have, on how much fog bucks you can have, and there's a floor. So there's a huge, almost infinite gap between the haves and the have-nots, but we can close that gap. We can decrease that gap. We can lower the ceiling to $500 billion. We can raise that floor to 20 fog bicks. So we've created, a top and a bottom, and we can shrink that distance. And that's Fogbank. Okay, money is always evolving and improving, and this is just the latest development. in the history of money. Government is always evolving and improving, and gig is just the latest development in government. Human beings are always evolving and improving, and depopulationism is just the latest development. Okay? I've outgrown society and I've created my own. It's called depopulationism. I've outgrown my government and I've created my own. It's called gig. I've outgrown cash and I've created my own. It's called fogbank. So who the hell am I? That's number 4. Charles Webster Baer. I'm 51 years old. I don't have a wife or an ex-wife or kids. I'm a Buddhist because that's the correct philosophy for me. I'm an agnostic because I think everybody's an agnostic. I've never had anything to do with any kind of religion. I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California. West Side, original West Side represent. I went to high school in Newport, Rhode Island, which is remarkably similar to Santa Cruz, California. And in 1994, I graduated from the University of Hawaii at Hilo on the Big Island of Hawaii. And in 1995, I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And in 1999, I moved to Portland, Oregon. In 2000, I created Gig. 2007, I moved to Bend, Oregon. 2014, I went to China for 3 years. And last year, I moved to Redmond, Oregon. And I'm running for mayor of Redmond, Oregon in 22. And I'm running for president of the United States of America in 24 and 28. I'm running as a libertarian. Libertarian means that I am for less government and more freedom. Fiscally conservative, socially liberal. If it has to do with money, I'm a Republican. If it doesn't have anything to do with money, I'm a Democrat. I'm for the death penalty. I'm for the Texas style death penalty. I'm for legalizing suicide. I'm for legalizing all drugs. I'm for negative immigration, which means I think that the amount of people who are leaving the country should be more than the amount of people who are allowed into the country. And, I'm for, less government. So if I'm president and Congress sends me a budget that's more than the last budget, I'll veto it. I'm an isolationist. So if there's like a problem somewhere, I'll get involved, but only if the UN approves it and only if all the people in the region are willing to support it financially and militarily. Otherwise, good luck. So please vote for me, Charles Baer. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to smoke a joint. We're going to listen to some Yes. This is my second live stream. My first live stream, the lighting wasn't that good. But please share this live stream on social media, and please make your own video about these topics, okay? Learn about these issues and make your own video talking about how you feel about these issues. And get involved, get active, you know, be part of the solution. Adios, amigos. Peace in the hood.